insights into OHS and safety. Please give your full attention. Following our safety briefing, Avinesh will be taking us through the retail management framework. I need every single one of you in this room to be ready with an open, focused, and positive mindset. Avinesh's presentation are not just tender and from our own leadership. Please make the absolute best use of this opportunity. Finally, I want to extend my sincere thanks to Avi. Avi, thank you for your time and making yourself fully present with us today. We all know that time is most valuable gift you can give to anyone because it is the only thing you can never get back. We are truly blessed and grateful to have you here sharing expertise with us. Let's drop the excuses, embrace the standards, and make today an incredible day of learning. Thank you all.
Should stand in the middle. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi. So for those who don't know me, my name is Mary Lois Kepas. I am the Group Health and Safety Manager for CPL. I've been with CPL for 3 years. It is an honor to be here with you all. We've tried to get into the Jacks and Proud space, and it's really, so I'm here. I really am honored to be here because we've only been focused on the Stop and Shops and the city pharmacies and hardly ever, going into the Jacks and Prouds space. And when I stepped into management, I really wanted to make sure it was uniform and standardized across the business. So I'm here with my team. I'll just introduce them and they'll stand up. We have Momona Stanley Buri. He's the warehouse. Momona looks after our warehouse at Gerahu. He's the safety officer for the warehouse. And then we have Shelin Kambane. Shelin is the OHS officer for the entire group in your stores doing inspections. They'll be with us for 3 months only. So we have Keisha, he can stand up. And then we have Maria and Jairus. So they're really new. So I bet they're new to Lamana as well. Huh? We have to introduce a lot of locations to them. Anyways, so thank you for having us. We'll dive straight into the training. So what we're going to be doing is covering general safety knowledge, something that you can take back into each of your departments, and it's basic safety knowledge that everyone should be aware of. And then we'll go into fire extinguisher use and training on how to use a fire extinguisher, because that's basic knowledge. And I was surprised to walk into shops and ask someone, show me how to use a fire extinguisher. And a lot of people, majority of people don't know LTIs. So it's good to be here today, and I hope that you learn something new and you take with you back to your each respective area. Okay, so I tried to come up with a specific training for your space. I'm sorry if I don't cover everything, but it's basically what our department feels that you require to know in your business. All right, so basically introducing, I think I've introduced the training to you. So why do we have safety trainings? Why is safety paramount in each business? Nowadays, safety has become a priority in businesses. It creates trust, reputation, engaging other businesses. Now they come into your business and ask you, what are your safety policies? What do you have? What are your safety SOPs in place? So we have to understand why safety is important. And then understand the employee and employer responsibilities. What is my responsibility as an employer? And what is my responsibility or duty as an employee to the company? And being able to identify and report hazards, incidents, and by ensuring that you cover all of that together, you're promoting or you're fostering a culture of safety, yeah? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Let's conversate. Don't make me become like a preacher and you guys are the congregation. Talk with me. So we're aiming to foster a culture of safety where everyone owns their own responsibility, their own safety. So is responsible for their own safety. You don't run to me when you're in danger all the time. You will know what to do when you're in danger. When something happens, you know. Instinct. So safety is basically everyone's responsibility. Each of the staff, you have a duty to work safely, follow procedures, SOPs, standard operating procedures. I'm sure everyone has standard operating procedures in your area of expertise, your work, your departments. You have your SOPs to follow. Report hazards and incidents. Having an incident reporting process is important as well. Look out for co-workers and your customers. So, safety culture. When you have a safety, when you've fostered the safety culture in your workplace, there's no shortcuts. Yeah? Everything you have to follow step by step. You don't shortcut. Then we end up with serious incidents. Speak up about hazards. Always speak up. You see something that's not right, you feel that it's unsafe, don't. Speak up. Advise your supervisor. Report near misses. Who knows what a near miss is? Who can tell me what a near miss is? Do you know what a near miss is? Yes, Alicia.
And near miss is an accident that didn't occur but could have occurred.
Yes.
Example like a vehicle that could have crashed into you guys, but it veered off the road. So that's an example of a near miss.
What is another example of a near miss? Apart from the obvious vehicle. Thank you, Alicia. The other incidents, okay, then one of my safety officers can answer that. Momona, what is another near miss? An example of a near miss.
The near miss,
Apart from vehicle.
apart from the, for example, a pocket, operating a pocket, unloading a stock from the vehicle down.
And you have to remember that, like, when you're reporting, you're not going to get into trouble. A lot of people don't report because they feel that they're going to get in trouble. And that's why we have to change that mindset, where reporting is not you pointing fingers or blaming someone else. Okay, you just want to prevent it from recurring. You want to prevent an accident from happening, so you build that reporting culture. You know, sometimes it stems from our culture as well, and how we seem to see how reporting is. So in a PNG culture, we see that reporting is, you know, you're pointing fingers and you're blaming someone. But we have to change that mindset. All right, the importance of workplace safety. Why does safety matter in the workplace? We say occupational health and safety. Occupational. Who can tell me what occupational is? Yes. 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 Your occupation, the work that you do. Occupational is just workplace. Anything that happens in the workplace. Now we're going to be focusing on the safety, health and safety. So safety matters in the workplace because it protects our employees from harm. It reduces accidents and injuries, and then we comply with the legal requirements, because there are legal requirements under safety, that safety comes from. If you know the OHS Act, It is a legal requirement, and your business can be shut down if you do not comply. And then it also enhances productivity and morale. When an employee feels like they come to work and they're feeling safe and the area that they're working in is safe, it increases their productivity. They feel comfortable coming into the workplace, hence they are more productive and your performance is increased. Yeah? Hazard. Someone tell me what a hazard is. Not any CPL employee, City Pharmacy, no, Jax. What is a hazard? Yes. Thank you, Vinit. Something dangerous. Oh, something that can cause potential harm. Anything that can cause harm. Who can give me an example of a hazard in your workplace? I want different hands up. Let's have different people talking. Yes, Samoa.
Wet floors.
Wet floors. Yes. Anything else?
Tangled electric wires.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Anything that can cause harm to you. Thank you, everyone. So this is what I think, or we think, the safety team thinks, is a common workplace hazard in JAX. From us coming into your shops, these are some of the common hazards. So we have the slip, trip, falls, wet floors, curtains, uneven surfaces in the building. We have manual handling, lifting curtains, moving stock, which is something that you might be doing all the time, or if I'm not sure if you're using machines now, but there are times when you will be lifting, yeah? And then you have falling objects, when you're stacking shelves, falling objects, fire risks, electrical faults, blocked exits. Then we have cut or injury, sharp objects, broken items, and customer risks, overcrowded aisles. So you are stacking shelves and then you don't bother about the customer that's walking around that area. So it's really, really important for you to always empty out, restock quickly as you can, and clear the aisles so that the customer is accessing the aisles. Yeah? Any questions for me? No questions? Is it clear? Yes.
Thank you. So you mentioned
A lot of companies do have it. It's in part of the policies. You just are not, it's not been spoken about. It's not been made aware of, you know. It's just they put it on the side and throw it there just for in case audits come up, and then they take it out and be like, yeah, we have our policy on OHS here. Have that in place. You know, we're here to guide you. You can, we do have that in place for CPL, and if you do not have it, we are here to guide you. And it's good that we talk about this and make awareness on it so that you have that. So, your health and safety. We want your safety policies. We want your safety manual. We want to know what your SOPs are in order to create that trust. Yeah, they are sure that you are, you know, you have all this in place, and that covers you. Your company. Am I clear? Yeah? Because I've gone through that with banks, you know. I'll be, you know, called upon to come provide all the policy. Thank you so much for that. Any more questions? No? Okay. Okay, yes?
We have one here.
Oh, lost time injuries are days that you miss from work because you had an injury in the workplace. Yeah, it was caused because you were working. And that's when you know, that's where you understand why a lot of companies or mining industries are not taking responsibility of their safety. And then we had to, it's also like lost time is equals to loss of productivity. No work is done. If you have only one safety officer and he's not working because he had an injury in the workplace, who are you going to run to when you have issues and you don't really? I'm wearing my PPE. This is my PPE. You'll have your own PPE when you're working in the warehouse. You have your safety boots on. You have your helmet. You have your gloves. Yeah? Just, sorry.
Under the act, are you guys requiring the company to have a safety officer each location, or?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But if we are here to provide that guidance for you and oversee. But if you have the safety policy in place, it makes it much easier. You know, we can have it standardized across the business, yeah? You don't necessarily have to have a safety officer.
Okay, so, all right, so, like, what happens if, okay, let's say we have a logistics team, and if they don't have PPEs and you come in and then you flag that, what's the consequences?
Thank you for that. So when I come in, and is me coming in and telling you that you might not budget for it, but you have to spend this money because the repercussions will be greater if you don't spend money now, right? So I come in and I'm like, I'll provide the report to your management. This is what I observe. Get your PPE or your boots, or, you know, get a contractor to service and maintain your fire equipments. So I don't spend money, yeah? Lucky me, yeah. So that's basically what happens. We come in and we look at the risk. You're setting aside budget, money, just in case something like this happens. Because I'm telling you, if you do not comply with the requirements and you somehow one time PNG Fire walks in, because PNG Fire Service is a national body, and if they walk in and they say that, you know, things like this can close down your business. To ensure that you are... Basically, why you're reporting is to... basically, what you're reporting injuries, you're reporting near misses, you're reporting unsafe conditions. Unsafe conditions can be you not having the proper PPE to work. Yeah? Unsafe condition can be that that area you're in seems like it's too stuffy, you can't breathe inside, it's too dusty. That's an unsafe condition. Damaged equipment. You're operating a damaged equipment can be a risk to yourself, a risk to the building, you know. So I always report these fire hazards as well. Now the reporting process. This is the reporting process. When something happens, when an incident happens, you make the area safe. You assist the injured person, inform manager, supervisor, and then you have to complete the incident report. An incident report includes a statement from all the details and statements from the witness, from yourself, what had happened. And then you implement corrective action. What is a corrective action? Corrective actions are actions you take to ensure this never happens again. Like we said, remember, reporting is not blaming, it prevents recurrence. Okay, slip, trip, and falls prevention. These are some of the things that I've seen while walking into your shops, especially your storage areas where you're storing. Outside, inside in the shops, well cleared, it looks amazing, you know. But then we walk into the storage areas and that's where a lot of trouble comes from. Boxes on the floors, blocked walkways, wet floors, loose cables, poor housekeeping. Poor housekeeping. I hope you guys should try research on 5S and try and implement that organizational structure into your warehouse. Trust me, I've done it in my previous company and it's worked really well. So it's a Japanese organizational structure. It's really good for warehouses. Okay, some controls: keep aisles clear, remove empty cartons immediately, inform your supervisor, manager, clean spills immediately, and conduct housekeeping checks. For managers and supervisors, it takes 5 minutes to have a walkthrough of your building, just to ensure everything is clear and okay. I encourage you to do that. So remember, nothing belongs on the floor unless it is meant to be there. So, Manual handling, receiving stock, moving cartons, shelf replenishment, and storage activities. Now, there is a correct way to lift and an incorrect way to lift. So, safe lifting techniques. Always plan the lift. Look at the weight of the carton, check the weight, and then when you're lifting, never bend down. Bend your knees when you're lifting. Squat. In other words, keep the load close to yourself, not you reaching out like this to lift it and you're bending down. We've had instances where a staff did that and snapped his back muscle. It's dangerous. So, and then ask for help. Don't think you're, what's that superhero's name? The Hulk? Oh, yeah. So there's some skinny little men that want to carry boxes that's twice the size, and then we have problems. So avoid twisting while carrying. When you're carrying, don't carry the box like you're carrying a baby on your side. And carrying loads that block your vision, I don't know how you can do that when you can't see the road or the pathway. And lifting beyond your capacity. Like we said, you're not Hulk. Okay? So that covers manual handling. Now we'll go into emergency procedures. So before we go into emergency procedures, I'd like to cover fire extinguisher. So a lot of people, who knows how to use a fire extinguisher in here? Put your hand up. Who's confident the type of fire, they know the type of fire extinguisher to use on the type of fire? Who knows? You guys know how to use it? But you don't know the types, right? The different types is used for the, not a lot of people know that there are different fires, make it look nicer. Then you have to call us in again to say like, okay, we're trying to rearrange this, so can you relocate the extinguisher, or do we need a different type of extinguisher? Yeah? So that's basically, a lot of people don't understand that. Even though they do know how to use a fire extinguisher, sometimes you might go and use a water fire extinguisher on an electrical fire. And instead of putting the fire out, you bent yourself, you roasted yourself there. Okay? So, we'll just go quickly through this. I don't have a fire extinguisher here. I forgot to bring mine. But anyways, why does fire safety, why is it important? So everyone knows that CPL has a bad history with fires over the years. If you know, if you don't know, we've had a bad history with it. So we want to ensure that this is something that every employee is aware of, fire safety, so that it protects the lives. It also protects our properties. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, back home. See, we have to conduct a fire drill at one of your Jack stores. So fire extinguishers are basically used, smoke detectors, emergency lights, fire hose reels, yeah, and then fire extinguishers. So when there's an emergency, there might be different types of emergencies that you might require. Some can require an extinguisher, another could be requiring a hose reel, because the fire is too much that the extinguisher cannot put out. And then fire hydrants. Hydrants. FIP, who knows what okay? So these are some of our fire wardens that we trained. We got trained, external training for. Was it somehow way part of this? No, sorry. We have fire warden, we have a safety committee. Has JEX participated in our firefighters? So this is because we want to ensure that every area has a fire warden, and every area, in case of an emergency, the fire warden will be the one that voices out and knows how to carry themselves in an emergency fire. this is when you want to fight the fire. Small electrical fire in the office printer. That's when you can fight it. With the extinguisher that's near in the area where the printer is. Don't run to another area to get, because that's the specific fire extinguisher for that area. And mostly when it comes to electrical fires, you have the ABE or you have the CO2, carbon dioxide. It has a really big black horn. That's for the electrical fires. So you also, when to fight, you burning cardboard in the warehouse bin. When it's a small fire, you know, someone flicked a cigarette butt and then the cardboard went up in flames, and then that's when you can use a water or APW extinguisher. So basically those are just air pressure water extinguisher. That's just water extinguisher you can use for that. And then we have the oil spill ignites on bakery stove. So that's if you have kitchens and you're using what do you call them, gas stoves. And if there's an oil spill, that's when you use a dry chemical extinguisher. Never use water. Like we said, you don't want to get anything, get harmed during that. So this is an example when you need to flee. Flee means evacuate immediately. Fire spreads across pallets when you immediately evacuate. Any questions before we move on? So like we said, these are the three elements that cause fire. We have oxygen, it comes in contact with heat and fuel, and that's when a fire starts. Enough oxygen to sustain combustion, and then enough heat to raise the material in its ignition temperature. Some sort of fuel or combustible material. This chemical reaction is fire. That's how fire starts. The triangle. It's called the 5-element triangle. 4-element triangle, or 3, sorry. 4. Now these are the classes of fires. We have class A, class B, class C and class D, and class F of fire extinguishers. Now you have to go in detail with this. This might take too long for us, so I will just generally, the basic fire equipment that's located in your area would be ABE. It's a dry powder fire extinguisher. And it's probably CO2 as well, which is also dry powder. So class A are ordinary combustibles like wood, paper, cloth, and then B, flammable liquids, gases. So ABE or ABC is the fire extinguisher that's mostly used because it covers almost all. It's A, B, C, almost all of the types of fires. So electrical equipment like appliances, like printers, combustible materials are class D, like magnesium, sodium, aluminum. This one you should all know. So the pass technique is the PASS. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the lever, and then sweep from side to side. So always know the pass technique. Pull the pin. There's a pin at the top of the fire extinguisher. There's a nozzle that hangs down. There's a black nozzle that hangs down. Remove the nozzle from the strap that it's on. Aim at the base of the fire. So what we usually do is you get the hose nozzle and you test it away from you to ensure that the fire extinguisher is functioning. You'll be able to use it. All right, so you squeeze the handle and you sweep from side to side. Understand? And do you guys have a fire evacuation map? Sorry, do you have an emergency evacuation map in your shops? You have, yes. So it's important to have that so that when it's an emergency, it's also showing you the locations of all the fire equipments on your evacuation map. Now, this is something that we've seen in all the shops, obstruction. Do not obstruct or block the fire equipments. I've seen shelves that's in front of the fire extinguisher or the hose reel is at the back. In the case of the emergency or fire happens, how are you going to run and access the equipment quickly? Always have your monthly checks, your annual servicing, or by the fire contractor. Have a contractor to have annual servicing. Report missing or tampered extinguishers immediately. So zero tolerance for blocked exits or misplaced extinguishers. Fire prevention is everyone's responsibility, just as safety is. And stay calm and stay trained. So that's basically and we're almost done. We just do the emergency procedure. Now, who knows what RACE is? Have first aid procedures. Have a safety representative or have safety first aid trainings for your staff. Drills and training, regular practice of emergency drills and keeping updated with emergency procedures. Okay, so I think we're almost done. General guidelines. Follow safety signs and warnings, report hazards and unsafe conditions. We're just repeating, maintain cleanliness and order. And then specific practices, safe lifting techniques, use proper tools and equipment, and adherence to the safety protocols. Have your SOPs in place so that you have some sort of guidelines for all your employees to go through. Like we already talked about, company policies, overview of the health and safety policies, responsibilities of the employees and the employers. What is my responsibility? What is your responsibility? Yeah? So my responsibility as your employer may be providing the conducive environment for you, being able to provide PPEs when you need PPEs, being able to, ensuring that the building you're working in is safe for you to be working in. And then your duty as an employee to me is to abide by the company policies. Following the standard operating procedures. Yeah? Okay. So we already talked about the OHS Act and the Industrial Act, the importance of documentation and reporting. Always document everything you do. If it's a training, if it's an incident, if anything, always have documentation, because that is going to be your grounds to, you're following your policies, you have that in place, your policies. You may have your policies in place, but you don't have documentation or proof that you are following your policies. Have your training attendance forms, all this in place. So I'm not sure if you include this, but it's good to include in the initial stages, like your induction phase, include the safety awareness program. I think that's all. We have access, have your safety manual for your company as well. Do you have that in place? No? Important to have your own safety manual. We're here to provide guidance on that as well. So, thank you so much for having myself and my team here. I think we've gone over time. Am I done? Or do I have some more time? Okay. So ongoing safety training and awareness of the importance of safety can help create a strong safety culture. Open discussions and regular training reinforce safety knowledge and skills. And it's important, I always say this, up to the board level. I say it in the board meetings as well. It starts here. Safety starts at the top and it's a rippling effect down. You cannot start pointing fingers at your employees when you as the leader not fulfilling those responsibilities, yeah? So you only show them how it's done and it will be just a rippling effect. So right now it starts in here. And from here, it's you and your passion for your staff, your care. It's also something that's instilled in you as a person. Safety basically is about caring. You show that care for someone else and in turn you save a life. Okay? Thank you so much for having me and my team today.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for availing yourselves with your team. Some good learnings. I think we should now.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mary, once again. I think it's safety first culture that we should have. You know? Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's for our own benefit and it's for the benefit of the team members. You know? I mean, if we are not focused on safety and if some casualties happen either to customers, to our staff or to us, we'll be responsible for it, and it's the moral responsibility to ensure we provide a safe environment. We had, I'm not sure if team members are aware or not, I had some, with Wengani building, for a period of time I was having sleepless sort of nights because we had a dead end in the Wengani building. You know? So if you know the office area, and it was always a question in mind if something happens when we took that building and we started to operate. And then we realized that if fire starts before the door of the office building, as soon as you enter where Maggie is sitting, or in the kitchen, there was no exits. You know, you get stuck. And that was probably something that was bugging me every day till we got the back door done. You know, if you look at now from Dixon's IT room, there's a door going at the back where if fire happens in front, then you can still get to that door and you can still from the canopy escape. You know, so it's our responsibility to ensure that if they plan. So then I had to break another wall connecting to another flat so that there is exits. You know? So it applies to our work life, it applies to personal life. We need to ensure that we have a safe environment. In some risk happened, at least life is not at risk. You know, the life would be safe. That's the main paramount thing that we want. So that's why you've seen when we walk around, we look at fire extinguishers. When we walk around, we check exits. You know, the two exits on top, then the two should be accessible and we should be able to open that within seconds if there is a fire hazard somewhere. You know? So even if you look at the warehouse that we have built, JCS, we have left a space at the back and a back door. That's for safety, so that people have two ways to come in and go out. So it's a moral responsibility, team, and safety is something that we should never compromise. Anything can happen at any point in time. So with this, I'll give you 3 minutes just to refresh, regain, reflect. At that time, I was already thinking about a life sort of threatening near miss that I went through. You know? So anything can happen, and we need to. Risk is something, safety is something that we should never compromise.
I cannot come around. So, but she has had a little bit. Once she is now doing a regular visit, if not, the police. Robert, Janet, it's not needed that please go to the time, all the time please. Sorry? It's not needed time. No, I just want to let you know what time. Sorry.
We'll wait for a few more members to come in, and then we'll head into the training. Okay, so we start with the session. It's Leadership Retail Excellence Framework. We'll focus more on the retail excellence framework. For some it would be repetition, for some it would be new, but that's the base, that's where things start. My training, it's always two-way communication, so audience also does equal or more talking than I'll do. It's an interactive session where we'll sort of try to learn and understand the concepts by interacting from each other. And I always cover the foundation first before getting into the training session, because that's the critical. I mean, in life, whether you are just working because you need a job or you are working because you have a purpose behind it. And the team here is into leadership team, heading into leadership team, or are already in. This year's goal was Empower 2026, our people, our power, 1% better every day. We work with a purpose, building people and driving performance and delivering results. It's never results, it's building people first, you know, and then push for performance, and results takes care of itself. And if you reflect last 12 months, that's what we have been doing. You know, we have been focusing on people, and we have been through people driving performance, and our results always takes care of itself. So, and that's what our objective for Empower 2026 has been. But it's a team, core team with one common goal, working towards one common purpose. But as an individual, what drives us, what motivates us? You know, what's something in life that we need to have to be able to go beyond? I mean, not everyone achieves success, right? But everyone is capable of achieving success. But why only few achieves it? What they have? Those few achieve success. What do they have?
Passion.
Passion. They have a passion. But why they become passionate? What is something that drives their passion? Goals.
I think one of the things that drives them for success is the hunger to live a better life, wanting a better life.
Wanting a better life. Okay? Wanting a better. So what's that? What we call that? And we changed my dream. And I was the only son, and I said my dad works hard, and I made that dream to be my dream, and everything changed. You know, academic. If there was 45 students, if you talk to my primary classmates, I would be coming 43, 44, 45. You know? But from the day my dad gave that dream to me, things changed. And in another 3 years, I sort of topped the class because I got a purpose. And the first time I went to my dad, and harder and harder. So team, everything starts with a dream. You know? Dream for yourself, then slowly dream for your family. You achieve what you have achieved, your purpose shifts, and your purpose shifts, and changing the life of your team becomes a dream. Gives you satisfaction. But they are not able to pursue their dream to the end and what they truly are capable of. So what they face, what we face in life day to day, obstacles, dead wall, big pothole. What we do? We give up. Perseverance. People who succeed persevere. Even they are making continuous effort for a year, they are not seeing progress, but they don't give up. Criticism. Yes. So criticism, these are all what we can group them into. Criticism, things not working, would change what they can do differently to achieve what their end goal is, what their dream is. They persevere. But some people, they'll ask for support from 10 people. Out of 10, one may help. But they'll never give up asking for support. So that's the difference. Dream, we'll face with obstacles. How do we deal with obstacles? We'll face self-doubt because we don't see progress. We'll have challenges. And control, right? Challenges Obstacles is there, we deal with obstacles. Self-doubt is our internal thing where we don't see progress and we give up. Challenges, again, external environment, again, how do we deal with? But people also, in my morning message, I always say that if that happens, that doesn't mean it's the end of things. Sometimes that makes us stronger. Willpower. I need that word. Mistakes. Right? We all make mistakes. We are human. And sometimes people give up. They go and do a hard self-reflection of the mistakes and get the learning out of it and moves on with the correction. And they keep going forward. But people have a dream. They make mistakes. They lose their soul. Internet goes down. What do you do? Yesterday, Robert was saying his printer not working. But still his shop did good sale. He went from this session, asked for an early break so that looking at the consequences, let's learn out of it. That's what we can do. And keep moving forward. Don't give our dream. So team, that's what this team requires, because there's people below us who is looking at us. And if we are not able to set a dream, face those challenges, deal with those obstacles, learn from mistakes, be open-minded. The 5 C's that we have talked about, I've shared the readings in the group. Number 1, if you have a dream, what is the most important thing that we need to have, the 5 C's? If you have multiple dreams, do you think that, again, commitment comes after the first one? Clarity? Yes. That's number 1. Clarity. You need to be very clear what your dream is. If you are not clear, it will change. Once you have achieved that, then that's not end of the life. You set another dream, another goal. But every goal that you set, every dream that you create, you have to be very clear about it, not confused mind. Then is commitment, then is consistency. And we have emotion, right? Emotion makes us question, emotion makes us doubt ourselves, emotions makes us react. So what we need, another C, to be able to pursue our dream. Control. Right? We need control. We need self-control, control our reactions, control our behaviors, control our emotions, to be able to keep pushing for the dreams. Every time we have that, right, our emotions take over. Negative emotions quickly takes over. We want to go and fight if someone says something wrong to us. But if you compassion, right? People can achieve dream, but what's the use of achieving that dream if you don't have compassion, you don't have feel for people, you don't have human value comes in. Takes the ego out, Tell that we are humans, we exist for a purpose. We all have our own different ways of thinking, and we are not going to compromise human values. Anything that we do will be human-centric. So team, that's where it is. And so I've talked about where it all starts, what pushes us when we have a late night, what pushes us for a morning starts, what pushes us to invest on ourselves, learning, looking after ourselves, healthy, eating. Our dream would do that. Our dream would make us look at ourselves, because we'll realize that our own self is not able to support our dream. That's when we'll be forced to look at, that's what is 5:30, then I would either be running late or missing my prayer or missing my training. So when I look at my day today, I said, no, I have to start at 5:15, because I'll have to then be in gym by 5:30, finish up, do my prayers, which I can't miss, do my workout, which I can't miss, because that's what I'm doing to ensure that I'm physically capable of giving the effort that's required. Then I can't miss the prayer, because that's what gives me energy, that's what gives me confidence to face all the obstacles, challenges that I'm going to deal. And I tell myself that the day is not going to be easy. I'm going to face challenges, I'm going to face obstacles, that's part of life, but I have not missed my morning routine. I've looked after myself, and I have got support with me. I talk to my mom, and I have their blessing, her blessing with me, and that's what gives me energy to drive. And that's what pushes me. So team, we need to know that. So that's dream. We have 3 different roles that we play. So first we are born. What we have? Responsibility. We have a family, right? So our responsibility towards our family. Then we grow up. Profession. Yeah? So these are the 3 groups that we deal with, and each other has an impact on the other. Yeah? How we manage our family commitment and happening with our friend cycle. The choice that we take depends on what our dream is. The choice that we take determines what our dream is. You may have a Sunday event function, and it's a party, it's a late night, and Monday morning, 8 o'clock, you have to start. And what would happen? You'll finish at 3 a.m. in the morning. Then you realize that you wake up, it's already 10 a.m. And there was some commitment at 8 at work. Your work gets affected. So team, how we manage these 3 groups becomes critical, and we'll always face choices. And what choices we take links up to our dream, links up to the purpose. When I remember when my dad was 6, I was the only son, and he was admitted in Tabo Hospital, and I had to be with him in the hospital. So I'll be with him in the hospital, but I'll make sure my work is not compromised. I'll be sitting in the hospital with my laptop on my lap and working, and when he needs me, I'll be with him. Because I had a dream, and because your family is part of it. If something happens, you don't have food, your friends will be the first one to run away. How many have you experienced when you face hard situation? I mean, some friends, yeah, definitely they'll come and help you out, but majority are there on your greener days. Majority are there on your greener days. Few is there on your hardship days. Manage these 3 and ensure one or the other is not affecting another box. Our family is not affecting our friend cycle, our friends is not affecting our work is not affecting our family. How do we balance it? It all goes to discipline. So team, something to think about in leadership role. If they don't have a dream, they don't have a purpose. And we'll go all the way. Even if a person with a dream calls me at midnight for support, I'll give that support at midnight. So So if you look at its right priorities, balancing what matters most, so one area never weakens the other. That's our strength. Our family becomes our strength for us to achieve success in our professional life. Our professional life success becomes a strength of keeping our family connected and our friends' cycle appreciated. But defining your boundaries become critical, as I've said. Sometimes we are people and emotion, and we get carried away with that because we lack control. So that's where control comes in. So that 5 C's that we talk about is very critical. And team, if every day we start with our dream in mind, every day we tell ourselves that we are going to face challenges, obstacles, we may not see progress and difficult situations, but we're still not going to give up. We're still going to keep pushing. We are clear about our dream. We are committed to it. We are consistent. We control ourselves, our emotions, and we have compassion, which is feel for people. And we balance our priorities right. We don't have to look back in life. Before anyone will be very satisfied with what we achieve in our life. So dream and mindset, just touching that. Our dream ignites the vision, our mindset fuels the action. So dream, it ignites the vision, is a vision. Then it comes mindset. The 5 C's that we talk about is all about mindset. The obstacles, challenges that we have talked about and how do we take that positively and deal with is about mindset. That fuels the action. Dream big, but think strong. Some people, they have a big dream, but they give up in the middle because of what we have talked about, because they don't think strong. For us to face those challenges, obstacles, be clear, control ourselves, we need to be strong, both physically and mentally. Mentally more than physically. Because your mental fitness is what drives your physical fitness, and your physical sort of drives your mental. It's interrelated. It's not one or the other. Your future is built by what you believe and how you behave. Success begins with a dream, and success is achieved with a mindset. So team, that's very critical. And this is something, first we inherit, we incorporate, we set a dream, we believe in the dream, we have the right mindsets, we are open to learning and growing, we are open to when something is flagged as a mistake or as obstacles, we are open to it, we give a honest self-reflection, we take our learning, we do the correction, but we keep moving forward. We don't give up. That's a mindset. We have worked in my 20 years of experience. There's a lot of people that have come and thanked for supporting their growth. But within these 20 years, I've also not been able to achieve the same with some other people because they had a very different mindset. Their mindset was not supporting what they were capable of. Their mindset was too closed. They could not see the light end of the tunnel. They were too into their own capabilities, too overconfident about what they're doing. And that mindset doesn't allow them to pursue that dream. People who are open, people who have a dream and have a right mindset, takes all feedbacks positively, does hard self-reflection, takes the learning, aligns themselves, and keep moving towards their dream and keep pushing for their dream. So that's the foundation, that covers the foundation, team. It's always self-reflection. As I've said, I can only interact and understand if you have a dream, but it's within you who really knows what your dream is. How are you managing those 5 C's? What is your mindset? Burnout. Right? So you'll keep moving forward, but you'll not be stressed. You'll be satisfied. And there's one important word: sustainable self-discipline. It's not one day, 1 week you are very well and the other week goes down. Your self-discipline, if you incorporate these 5 C's, is very sustainable, is very consistent. So this is what we've talked about, an open mind, self-reflection. We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. And if you apply that to life, you realize even you study, you just don't learn from studying. You learn from going over it again. That's the learning happens. So like for our culture that we are trying to build, our culture training, we have started our reinforcement phase. We have gone to guide 1 again. Now the real learning should start to happen. The first phase was just learning. It was just trying to introduce the concepts. From yesterday, as committed on 15th, I have sent you understanding. Team, guide 1. There's 3 things first we need to understand. One is guide 1 was understanding between 3 things. I can see people scrolling through to the guide. The first and foremost thing that we need to understand in terms of building a solid culture, a strong culture. Negligence and come on team, come on. I feel the learning is not going through. I refreshed it last night. Some of the people also hit hard buttons. Carelessness. A mistake becomes carelessness when it's repeated over and over again. Huh? It doesn't mean that if something is a mistake, it stays mistake. If you repeat it, it then becomes carelessness because you're not learning out of it. So first time it's a mistake. Huh? Then it's carelessness to do something else. That's negligence. And how do we deal with these three things sort of determines the culture that we build. We entertain negligence, we entertain carelessness, we have a very poor performance culture. You know? So team, I'll request again, go through guide 1, go through the case studies that has been shared. I'm putting in a lot of time, and that's not for me. As I've said, my purpose is to build a team here, create an organization, a culture where we all are proud of, and everyone that associates with is proud of. And when also people, when they see us from outside, what you have read and what your key take-homes has been. And that's when the real learning happens, and it will become part of you. Okay, so we'll take our break now, sharp at 10. Refresh, rethink. Some of you is reading guide 1 now, I can see. Yeah, the new team members must have missed guide 1, so who joined in between, because guide 1 was issued in January and guide 2 was in February. So anyone joining in that month, so every month we have issued a guide. Guide 1 was in January, guide 2 in February, guide 3 March, it's now getting to a stage where it's carelessness, it's habitual, you know. And then if it continues, you draw a line and say, sorry, this is not our culture, we don't accept it.